If we successfully clean the Earth's air today, 7 billion people will die tomorrow. This isn't a conspiracy, it's a mathematical trap. And what scientists just discovered about our atmosphere is terrifying. But the real nightmare starts when the smoke finally clears. What no one knew was that our poison was actually our shield. By the end of this, you'll understand the terrifying math that makes our survival dependent on toxic smog. We've been told for decades that pollution is the enemy. But we've accidentally built a life support system out of filth. If we turn off the factories, the planet will literally ignite. And the reason why is hidden in a phenomenon called aerosol masking. Think of the Earth as a patient on a very dangerous drug. The drug is killing us slowly. But stopping it instantly causes total organ failure. This is the paradox of the 21st century. Every time we burn coal or oil, we release two things. One is carbon dioxide, which traps heat. The other is aerosols, tiny particles that reflect sunlight. One is a blanket, the other is an umbrella. What researchers found in 2020 was a number that should have been impossible. When global shipping changed its fuel, the ocean temperature didn't just rise. It spiked faster than anything in human history. Remember that question about why the sky is a trap? It's about to make sense, and the answer is stranger than you'd expect. The aerosols we produce are currently cooling the Earth by nearly 1 full degree Celsius. That sounds small, it is actually a planetary lifeline. Without those particles, the global warming we feel would double overnight. But none of that explains what happened on day 3. That part has never been made public in a way people can understand. The real cause of the coming collapse isn't just the heat. It's the speed of the change. Nature can adapt to a century, it cannot adapt to a weekend. If the aerosol masking effect vanishes, the transition happens in days. This is what scientists call termination shock. It's a heart attack for the entire biosphere. And we are the ones holding the trigger. Here is the part that sounds made up, but it isn't. Clouds need seeds to form. Most of our clouds today are formed around pieces of our own pollution. If the pollution stops, the clouds literally vanish. Without clouds, the sun hits the ocean with full, unshielded force. The water absorbs heat like a giant black sponge. The feedback loop becomes a death spiral within weeks. But the atmosphere has one more trick up its sleeve. We have created a human-made shade. We are living in the shadow of our own filth. It is the only thing keeping the crops from burning. And we are trying to clean it up. Every environmental law passed to clean the air is a double-edged sword. Better air quality means a hotter planet. It's the ultimate damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. But the math gets even more terrifying when you look at food. Most global agriculture relies on stable, predictable weather. Termination shock creates a flash drought across every continent at once. The wheat belts of the world would turn to dust in one season. And that's when the social order begins to melt. When there is no food, there are no borders. 7 billion people cannot survive on a planet that changes its temperature in a month. The migration would be the largest in history. But there is nowhere cool left to go. Here is a fact that will keep you awake tonight. The 2020 shipping fuel experiment was a real-world test of this theory. When ships stopped using sulfur, a bright spot in the Atlantic vanished. The ocean temperature there hit record highs almost instantly. We proved the theory by accident. We tried to save the lungs of people living near ports. Instead, we set the ocean on fire. And this was just from a small fraction of global shipping. Imagine if we did this to every factory on Earth. Imagine if every car became electric tomorrow. The mask would fall completely. The heat would be unbearable within 3 days. This is why some scientists are terrified of green energy. Not because it's bad, but because we are doing it too late. We are removing the cooling effect before we remove the warming effect. It's like taking off your coat in a blizzard. But the blizzard is made of fire. Scientists at Harvard are now proposing something truly insane. To save us from the cleaning, they want to pollute the air on purpose. They call it stratospheric aerosol injection. They want to fly thousands of planes into the sky. They want to spray sulfur directly into the atmosphere. They want to create a permanent, artificial mask. But there is a catch that nobody wants to talk about. Once you start spraying, you can never, ever stop. If the planes stop flying for even 1 week, the heat returns instantly. It's a planetary addiction. We would be slaves to the maintenance of our own sky. If a war or a pandemic stops the flights, the termination shock happens anyway. We would be living under a ticking time bomb of our own making. And here's the part that sounds like a movie plot. Some countries might start spraying without permission. If India is too hot, they might spray to cool themselves down. But that might steal the rain from Africa. The first climate war won't be fought over land. It will be fought over the color of the sky. We are currently in a state of unintentional geoengineering. We are already messing with the weather. We just didn't realize how much we liked the side effects. But here is the most important detail of all. There's one detail nobody mentions, and it's the most important one. The mask only stays in the air for a few weeks. Carbon dioxide stays in the air for 1,000 years. We are building up a debt that can never be paid. Every day we keep the factories running, the heat behind the mask grows. The longer we wait to clean the air, the more violent the shock will be. We are trapped in a room that is slowly filling with gas. And the only exit is through a wall of fire. This is the aerosol dilemma. If we stop now, we die of heat. If we stop later, we die of even more heat. But what if there was a third way? Scientists are racing to build direct air capture. Giant fans that pull the carbon out of the sky. If we can remove the blanket and the mask at the same time, we survive. But the scale of the task is almost impossible to grasp. We would need to build tens of thousands of these machines. We would need to do it in the next 10 years. And we would need more energy than the world currently produces. Here is a fact that sounds like a glitch in reality. To power the machines that save the air, we might need more nuclear power. The very thing many environmentalists have fought against for years. The solution to the dirty air problem might be the scary energy solution. Irony is the fundamental law of the universe. So, why aren't we talking about this on the news every night? Because it's a no-win conversation for politicians. Telling people that cleaning the air will cause a famine is political suicide. It's easier to pretend the transition will be smooth. But the atmosphere doesn't care about politics. The physics of aerosols are cold and mathematical. Every time a coal plant in China shuts down, the local temperature rises. This is happening in real time, right now. In 2023, the Earth hit temperatures that shocked every climate model. Some experts believe that aerosol mask is already thinning. The unseen warming is finally becoming visible. And it's happening faster than the most pessimistic predictions. We are currently living through the great reveal. The mask is slipping. The heat that was hidden for 40 years is coming home to roost. But there is one country that is doing something different. Iceland is already running the world's largest carbon capture plant. It's called Orca. It turns the CO2 from the air into solid stone. It's a tiny start, but it's the only real exit ramp we have. If we can turn the sky into stone, we can balance the math. We can clean the air without burning the fields. But we need to move at a wartime pace. The aerosol mask is the most dangerous secret in science. We are essentially trying to perform heart surgery on a moving car. We cannot stop the car, or we die. We cannot keep driving the way we are, or we die. The only way out is to rebuild the engine while we drive. What I haven't told you yet is the part that makes everything worse. The ocean has its own mask. Microplastics in the water might be reflecting light too. If we clean the plastic, we might heat the water even more. Every time we try to fix nature, we find a new trap. We have become a geoengineering species whether we like it or not. There is no natural left on Earth. Only managed and unmanaged disasters. Remember the 7 billion people I mentioned at the start? They are the ones living in the delta zones. The places where a 1-degree spike means total crop failure. They are the collateral damage of our cleanup. The aerosol masking effect is the ultimate proof of our impact. We didn't just change the climate. We built a fake one to hide the damage we did to the real one. And now, the fake one is falling apart. If you feel like the world is getting weirder, you're right. The physics of our atmosphere are shifting in ways we've never seen. But there is a reason for hope. We are the first species to ever understand its own extinction. Understanding the mask is the first step to surviving it. We have to be honest about the cost of cleaning the air. We have to prepare for the termination shock before it happens. And that starts with a very strange realization. For a very short time, the pollution was our friend. It bought us 40 years of time. Time we mostly wasted, but time nonetheless. Now, that time has run out. The next decade will be the most important in human history. We will either learn to manage the mask or we will be crushed by it. There is no middle ground anymore. The blue sky is coming, but it carries a heavy price. Think about this the next time you see a clear day. The clarity is beautiful, but it is also a warning. The particles are gone, and the heat is coming. But how do we tell the world without causing a panic? The truth is, we are already in the termination shock. The heat waves of the last 3 years are the mask slipping. We are seeing the face of the planet for the first time in a century. And it's a lot angrier than we thought. So, what is the actual solution? It's not just planting trees. Trees are too slow for the termination shock. We need marine cloud brightening. This is a localized, safer version of geoengineering. We use salt water to make clouds whiter and more reflective. It's like putting a bandage on a burn. It doesn't fix the fire, but it stops the pain. If we can brighten the clouds over the poles, we can save the ice. If we save the ice, we buy more time for the carbon capture. It's a multi-stage rescue mission for the entire planet. And it's already starting in small tests off the coast of Australia. They are trying to save the Great Barrier Reef with salt mist. It's the first real attempt to replace the aerosol mask with something natural. If it works, we might have a blueprint for the rest of the world. But we are fighting against a rising tide of heat. That aerosol masking effect is the ultimate glitch in the system. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences we can't even see. We tried to fix the air and accidentally broke the cooling. But we can't stop trying to fix it. The 7 billion people aren't a statistic. They are us. They are the people who rely on the rain and the cool breeze. The people who don't know their lives depend on a layer of soot. The most dangerous thing we can do is ignore the math. We have to accept that the green transition is a high-wire act. There is no safety net below us. Only the heat of a sun we spent a century hiding from. But humans are good at high-wire acts. We built the modern world out of nothing but curiosity and greed. Now we have to save it using curiosity and courage. The termination shock is a choice, not a destiny. We have the technology to bridge the gap. We have the knowledge to replace the mask with something better. We just have to be brave enough to admit we were wrong. And fast enough to fix it before the clouds disappear. The story of the aerosol mask isn't a tragedy yet. It's a race. And for the first time, we know exactly where the finish line is. But the track is on fire. What happens next depends on how we handle the clean air paradox. Do we keep polluting to stay cool? Or do we innovate our way into a new, artificial balance? The answer will define the next 1,000 years of life on Earth. There is no going back to the way things were. The natural sky is a ghost from a past we can never return to. We are the architects of the atmosphere now. And the building is currently on fire. But we are also the ones with the extinguisher. The aerosol masking effect is a terrifying reality. But it is also the key to our survival. If we can master the particles, we can master the heat. This is the hardest puzzle humanity has ever faced. It requires us to think about the air as a machine. A machine that we built by accident. And a machine we now have to learn to fly. The danger is real, but so is the potential. We are finally seeing the hidden warming. And once you see the monster, you can start to fight it. The mask is off. Now the real work begins. Cleaning the air won't kill us if we do it with our eyes open. It will only kill us if we pretend the mask doesn't exist. Knowledge is the only shield we have left. The aerosol mask is the most important thing you've never heard of. And now you know why the blue sky is a warning. But don't look up in fear. Look up with the understanding that we are the ones in control. We are the ones who made the mask. And we are the ones who will decide what comes after it. The 7 billion people are waiting for an answer. And the answer is being written in the clouds right now. The termination shock is avoidable. But only if we stop lying about how easy the transition will be. The truth is hard, but it's the only thing that saves lives. The air is getting cleaner, and the planet is getting hotter. We have to balance the scales. We have to be the generation that fixed the aerosol paradox. The generation that saved the world from its own cure. And it all starts with a single, clear-eyed look at the sky. The aerosol masking effect isn't the end of the world. It's the beginning of our responsibility. We are the caretakers of the atmosphere. And it's time we started acting like it. The future is not a fire. It's a garden that needs a very specific kind of shade. We just have to learn how to make that shade without the poison. The transition is coming. It will be the hardest thing we've ever done. But we have no other choice. The aerosol mask is falling. And it's time to catch the sky. 7 billion people are counting on us to get the math right. The cooling shield is vanishing. The heat is rising. But so are we. The air will be clean. The planet will be stable. But only if we face the truth today. The aerosol mask was our shield. Now we must build a better one. One that doesn't poison the lungs of the people it protects. The era of accidental geoengineering is over. The era of intentional survival has begun. Don't fear the blue sky. Prepare for it. Understand the termination shock and you understand the future. The mask is gone. The real story is just beginning. And we are the authors of the final chapter. Make sure it's a good one. Because the world is watching. Cleaning the air doesn't have to kill us. It just means we have to be smarter than the problem. The aerosol mask was a trap. But every trap has an exit. We just have to be brave enough to walk through it. Together. The sky is waiting. And for the first time, it's actually clear. The mask is off. The truth is out. Now, let's get to work. Our survival depends on it.